Welcome back to Adobe Photoshop CC. In this tutorial, we're going to cover the Lighten blend modes and talk about some advanced blending options. The Lighten ones are the Lighten Screen, Color Dodge, Linear Dodge, Add, and Lighten Color. And as you guessed it, if you overlap two images, you basically lighten the image. So in this image here, we have a nice background image here. If I hold Alt or Option and click on it, I got this little lightning here. But I also have this lightning layer, which currently is set to blend mode of lighten. If I set it to normal, this is what it looks like. So to get rid of the black here, turn off the levels adjustment here. What I would do is set this blend mode to something that'll lighten. Typically is the screen blend mode. Now you can see it's not perfect here because this isn't perfect black in the sky here. So I add a levels adjustment to sort of knock down the darks and brighten up the lights a little bit. So the screen is a very cool blend mode. It gives you sort of a kind of light bluish tinge to the sky, but you could back off a little bit and lighten, is the next one. Typically I like to use screen as the go-to one. If we switch it to color dodge, you'll see what it looks like, or linear dodge add tends to add even more luminosity, and then of course lighten color. So those are the different lighten blend modes. I'm going to leave it at screen here. Now if I want to do it a different way, instead of using this level adjustment, which if we look at it, we double click on it, it's just I drag the black in here on the left here to a certain amount, and that's pretty much how I got it. Instead of doing that, we're going to use some advanced blend options. So I'm going to double click on this layer and bring up the layer styles menu, which in the top here is the blending options. And what we're going to look at is down here at the bottom. It says this layer and underlying layer. So what these represent is the luminance levels from dark to light, and it's for this layer and then the underlying layer. And basically you get to drag those and blend them together. So watch what happens as I bring this dark needle here to the right. Well, it starts to get rid of the dark. And if I drag the light in, it gets rid of the light, which I don't want to do. Now on the bottom one, if I drag the dark, you'll see the lightning pretty much disappears. If I drag the light in, it gets a little bit different, has a different kind of effect, and it's not very noticeable in this particular image. So for this image, it's mainly just adjusting the dark here, but having that harsh transition is kind of harsh. So what we can do is we can split this little triangle here by holding down the Alt or Option key and clicking and dragging, and look what happens here. So what you get is you can leave it here at this point and then drag this one away, and you get a softer transition. And so you can kind of play around with having these separate out. Now beware, if you drag them all the way together again, they are going to be one whole unit, and then you have to hold Alt or Option and separate them out. But now I have greater control, greater flexibility. I think I like that. Click OK. And that looks really nice. Now there's some junk down here that I'm not crazy about. Let's see, if we add the levels adjustment, it's definitely going to do a lot worse. Let's see if we can get rid of that through some other means. So if we remove the dark, notice a lot of that goes away down below. So let's drag out a little bit, and then what we'll do is we'll hold the Alt or Option and split that. And we'll see if we can get some of that to go away. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to do it, so let's try the opposite. If we drag the light, no. Light, no. So what we have to do is basically drag in the dark just a little bit more, and then blend it out a little bit to some degree there. So you got to finesse a little bit. That looks okay. I think I'd brighten it and choose the linear dodge add blend mode, and I get a little bit more luminosity. Now with this next image, it's actually a better example of how to use the blend modes. In here with this composite, basically we have two images. We have this girl here, and then the hard light image here. If I set this to blend mode to hard light, which is right here, which is a contrast layer adjustment, blend mode, you'll see that they work well together overall, but right now there's a lot of competing features. And I have noticed a lot of times these blend modes, the advanced blend mode features do work with the contrast blend modes quite well. So I'm going to double click on this gray area of the layer, bring up layer styles. Again, select the blending options, which by default what it'll be. And then again you have this black which if I drag it, you'll see it gets rid of all that darkness that's covering up. If I drag the light, it gets rid of the light in there. If I drag the underlying layer, you'll see it gets rid of some other kinds of effects, and then dragging the light creates this other effect. So I could come up with something really interesting by just dragging the bottom and separating it out and get some really wacky kind of almost like a polarized or inverted kind of effect here. I'm going to drag this back though. What I want to do is reduce some of the dark in the top layer. So what I'm going to do is hold Alt or Option and click and drag, and basically as I drag back, you'll see I got a softening of the edge there, which is quite nice. So by dragging this little needle here, we can see how there's more of a transition between the darks. We don't want them all the way together, but a little bit of separation is nice. I want some of the clouds to show through. Again, dragging the light needle gets rid of that luminosity of the sky and the clouds. I want to keep that from the top layer. However, on the underlying layer, I want to bring in some of the face again, and I can do that through the light. I don't want to remove the dark. I don't think that works, but I think I will bring in some of the light of the skin here. And then again, hold Alt or Option to separate these two. So as I drag back, you'll see I get a little more transition there. And it just gives me a little bit more of a clue into how sophisticated this blending can be. Once I like it, I can click OK to apply and check that out. I mean, the original still is pretty cool. I do like that image, but look at this. I mean, it looks like the sky is emanating from her face, and the clouds in here is just quite wonderful. So that's the basic overview of the Lighten screen blend modes. Again, they're right in here, and the advanced blend modes in Adobe Photoshop CC. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. Until next time, cheers!